3, 2, 1. Hi everyone, welcome to our update. So we want to talk to you about a few things, but most of all we want to discuss our Madison Whiskey Tumbler, and this is it. So for those of you who are new to Nisnas Industries, you're obviously not from our Kickstarter project, because obviously you would know about it. It's a beautiful, beautiful whiskey tumbler made of one solid piece oak wood with a stainless steel ring on top of it. It's all one handmade piece, and it's coated with a honey wax. So for all of our Kickstarter folks, you know all of this. So just to recap, we're going to be splitting our time in between talking to our audiences at large, and then more specifically to our Kickstarter audiences who kind of already know everything. So we'll try and mix it together. Let us know if it works. I think it should. So our whiskey tumbler. So there's a lot to know about it, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But first, an update for our Kickstarter crowd. So let's recap. As you guys know, we had a setback, and we want to talk a little bit about why we had this setback and how we grow from it. So the first thing, this is our from our first batch from a few months ago. And when we made it, we made a run the first time. We found out that the wood was not perfect. And what does this mean? It means that the wood tended to shrink, and when it did so, then it shrunk, but obviously the stainless steel ring stayed the same and the wood would shrink. This is obviously a critical flaw. So we decided that we would do as much as we can with all of our resources to get new wood and a new batch, a whole entire new batch, at quite a bit of an expense to us, but the whole idea was to make sure that you have the best. So we regrouped, reordered wood, and then made sure that we use only the best oak wood, and that's what we're doing. So we're here to show you our new batch, and it might be a good idea to show it in its new box as well. So why don't we do a little unboxing session here. So it comes in this beautiful little box right here. And when you open it, you will see a tumbler in it. When you get it, it'll also have this nifty little kit that holds this maintenance. It's a maintenance kit with some wax in it. So you just take that off, you get this wax, and this wax is used to maintain your tumbler. And we'll talk about how you use that in a minute. So let's just finish up with the delays and why it's important to talk about why we only use the highest quality stuff. Okay, so I'll be looking up on the board because that's where I have all my comments, so bear with me. So obviously we had this setback, and we did it. We went back to our drawing board to get you the best possible wood. And after we did it, we got a couple of samples to be able to make sure that we have sampling from the better wood. And Max will put up an image of that, right, Max? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you'll have an image of that, and you can take a look at the old wood and the new one, and why we went with the new one. There's also another issue with the old wood is that it had a tone issue. It wasn't the right tone that everyone saw in the Kickstarter, and now we got it right. So just to put that all into context, we wanted to make sure that you have the best, and now you do. So any kind of question or comment about why we insist on having the best wood or all of that, it's a whole longer conversation that we don't want to get into. It has to do with the wood being very, very porous. So it needs to be porous enough to let the whiskey in, but not so much that it's problematic, but we can talk about that in a later session. So let's walk through a few points. Okay, so that's about our little delay and how we fixed it. So the difference between the bad wood and the good wood is essentially that it is much more robust wood that will not shrink, and also the tone is much, much better, or how should I put it? It's as we advertised and not a lighter tone. Okay, maintenance. So everyone keeps asking about maintenance, and I can't stress this enough. So I don't know if we'll do this in editing later, but maybe we should put a big writing afterwards, Max, saying, please, please, please do this. So, this is the maintenance wax that you get with a tumbler. You open it up like this. And there are many ways to use this. In the beginning, we talked about maybe using a piece of cloth or applying it maybe even with sandpaper. But I'll clue you in on a secret. For our tumblers, it's best to use your thumb and your finger. So you take it out with your thumb like this, like that. And then move it up to your index finger like so. And then you rub the wax in on the inside using both fingers. Max, can you do a bit of a zoom in on this? Mm-hmm. The reason we're doing it this way is to make sure that there's the wax gets into the porous wood, making sure that you understand that oak is a very porous wood, and it's supposed to be that way. It's the reason it's used in oak barrels. It lets the whiskey seep in just a little bit. This helps seal the pores. It doesn't necessarily add any flavor, but it makes it a little bit more opaque, so the whiskey won't go through. It'll just kind of like engage with the wood. Really, really important. So you put the wax on like this. Make sure that you get it all the way in. Let it sit for a little while, and if you're really into it, do it 2 or 3 times. And this should last you like a month or 2, depending on how much you drink. Cool. So that's about maintenance. With your whiskey tumbler, you'll also get instructions. They come in this nifty little foldable kit. You can read through it. If you don't read all the way through it, that's okay, but you should. Take one thing from this, which is never, ever, ever wash your whiskey tumbler. Just don't. Just wipe it. So it's very important. Cool. All right. So again, I'm looking up here because that's where all our comments are. How are we doing on time, Max?
7 minutes.
Okay. So for the Kickstarter crowd, so you guys keep asking about timeline. So yes, we have this delay, but we are on timeline with our new timeline, I guess. So it takes time to remake the entire batch, and right now we're looking at late June or early July, and we'll keep you guys updated on when that would be. For everyone else, that means that we'll have them in stock late June, early July. That's that on timeline. Comments. By all means, use whatever platform you're seeing this on. Please comment away. If this is in our Kickstarter update, please, by all means, do comment on the Kickstarter page. If you're seeing this on Facebook, same there. And you should definitely join us on our YouTube channel. We've just started making it a little bit bigger, a little bit more robust. And you can see in all of our past videos, all of our products and how we put everything together. That's nice and useful. Okay, I think that's just about it. By all means, feel free to follow us on all our social media. We are using Facebook a little bit less these days, but YouTube is good and Instagram is pretty powerful these days, right, Max? Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Follow along.